gravy. Hope you're gravy. I've been past couple days just trying out Marvel Rivals. It's growing on me. The characters I'm finding success with are Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. So the Human Torch and the Punisher. The Human Torch and the Punisher. Those two have found them to be the ones I'm having most fun with, and I tend to perform the best with. With those ones. I prefer to provide support from the distance. I don't like fighting up close and personal. It tends to be very chaotic. I like to pick people from afar. That's fun. So another tactic I like to do, because the Punisher has this cool ability where he can set up a gun turret and just start firing people with his gun turrets. They did a good job of not making it OP. It's very annoying, but there's ways around it. So it's not like OP, I hope they don't nerf him. Cause that's a cool thing that you can do. So what I like to do, especially with missions where it's like protect this location, you just set up shop and you have to defend an area while the enemy team tries to take control of that area. What I like to do is set up my turret in that area and then just fire whoever's coming. That's always fun. It doesn't always work, especially if someone else is using the Human Torch or Iron Man, characters who can fly. If they fly hard enough, it gets very hard to shoot them when they're airborne, especially if they're moving around. And there's some people who are really good at flying while shooting. They'll be moving and they'll be very accurate, so they'll be hitting me while they're flying, which is it's hard to do. I'm not as big of a fan of Iron Man. He's similar to Johnny. He's similar to the Human Torch. He flies around and shoots out of his hands and stuff, but I feel like the Human Torch is just more fun to play as. I like his abilities more. Iron Man, yeah. Not for me. But yeah, it's growing on me. I still like Fortnite more. Fortnite just feels a lot more dynamic and fun. I mean, they're different, Fortnite has a different structure. The whole Battle Royale thing is just different from what Marvel Rivals is. Marvel Rivals is just more of a team shooter, team quests. Everything is based around teams. Whereas Fortnite, I just like you can just go in alone and just go crazy in this open world. It's so fun, man. The closings, the storm that closes in on you. That's always fun. To avoid the storm, and the enemies get closer and closer together, and you're forced into conflict because the storm keeps closing in. And there's so many different guns you can use. Everyone has access to the same guns. So I don't know. I like Fortnite more, but yeah, they are different games though. They are very different. So. It's not bad. I like that they you can tell that whoever made Marvel Rivals put in a lot of effort. There's a good roster of heroes to choose from and villains, characters to choose from. So that's cool. That's pretty dope. I haven't tried Overwatch and Apex Legends or those sort of games just because yeah, I'm just not into the team shooter vibes. I prefer something that just allows me to play by myself. But yeah, more rivals is cool. Anyway, I saw this Jubilee video. What I guess the I didn't watch the video actually. I just saw that it exists. There was a short. There's this channel, Emma's MySpace. I'm sure some of y'all know it at least. Some of y'all know her channel. I saw one of her shorts. She was featured in the video. I actually need to watch that video. I want to see who was on it. If I recognize some of the ASMR artists on there. That would actually be a fun game to play. Like, who do I recognize of these? Ooh, I need to do that. I need to do that. It'll be cool to like post that as a reaction video. See who I recognize, who I don't recognize. Oh, that'll be fun. Well, I don't know if doing the reaction video will be fun, but just watching the video will be fun, just to see who I recognize. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get to that. But I saw a short on Emma MySpace's Emma's my anyway. I saw a video, a short on her channel, and she was featured on there. I'm not sure what the premise. I'm not sure what the premise of the video is. I think you have to convince them that you're something else. And they have to guess if you're an ASMR artist or you're actually. So I think she was pretending to be a doctor. And they had to guess if she's actually a doctor or if she's like an ASMR artist. I'm assuming that was what was going on. But yeah, it looked very interesting. But it got me thinking about how ASMR is growing, and it's growing, it's becoming more niche, more mainstream. Gradually people are starting to catch on, which is cool. So I think it'll become more and more lucrative as time goes on, which is great, man. And you know, we've talked about AI and how AI is taking jobs and all this. People are really stressed about that. But like I was saying, it's gonna open doors for new avenues for people to make money. And it seems like a silly thing, right? Like people making careers out of something as strange and seemingly inconsequential as ASMR. But hey, man, for those who are into it, it could be a genuine means of making money and just expressing yourself and stuff like that. So it's cool to see more spotlight on this medium. I'm so happy I got into it. I really never planned to. I don't know how I even got into this, like how I started watching it. I'm not sure what. It's really hazy, my memory. Like I just remember like ASMR Glow was one of the first ASMRs I ever watched. I have no idea how I found her videos. How I started watching ASMR in general, I'm not sure. But at some point I was just like, what if I just made a channel and just did it myself? It's just a random thought, like what if I just started making ASMR with my phone? Because everyone had like these fancy setups, these fancy cameras. I was like, I bet I could do this with my phone. And yeah, thank God it worked. We're growing. But it's just cool to see, man. So like I was saying, I think what constitutes a career is going to change. Our concept of a career is going to change drastically. Think about it. I just saw a video the other day of a humanoid, I could show you, of a humanoid robot. It was handling costs in this couple's home. This was an advertisement. So this stuff is coming. I mean, it's here, it's not coming, it's here. So I'm gonna, there's no sound on, but look, this is an advert, guys. This is stuff they're pitching at. Should I turn on my brightness? You can see what's going on. basics. It's just handling household tasks, vacuuming, fixing picture frames on the wall, like carrying around dishes, wiping windows, carrying groceries. Look at this. So this is what they're marketing, right? So this stuff is already in production. It exists. AI is getting more and more advanced at a rapid, exponential rate. People think this is 20 years away. This stuff is like in the next few years. Before the decade ends, I feel like there'll be a lot of these things already moving around. So you have to think, what does that mean? Well, it means factory workers, like people who work manual labor in the farms, all that sort of stuff. Grocery, to waitresses. Maybe waitresses might not. I think people will want that human interaction. I don't know, but there are a lot of industries that are going to be changed by this. A lot of jobs gone, replaced by robots. They'll be cheaper. Restaurants as well. It depends on the customers. If the customers are really, really like, we want humans to serve us. But here's the thing. I think if customers realize that by getting, this will sound like a harsh way of saying it, but it's just it's just reality. If customers realize that getting rid of, like, let's say waitresses and waiters means lower cost for the food, because you have to think about it in terms of cost. It costs money to pay for these employees, which then drives up the cost of everything else because you have to recruit those costs, right? So if you're paying a lot for staff, the price of the food goes up. But now if you have a couple of robots handling these tasks, you know what that means? You can reduce the cost of food in the restaurant. You make it more affordable. So then I think customers will then have to ask themselves, do I really care that much about having a human waiter or waitress if my food is cheaper as a result of having a robot do the job? People are going to be asking those sort of questions, and it's up to, I think people will, I don't know, we'll see. I suspect people will tend towards, I'd rather save money. Hire the robots, it's okay, I'd rather save money. And businesses as well, when they're analyzing costs and stuff like that, they're going to be like, we'd rather save money, to be honest with you. So, is it all doom and gloom? Is the world over? Are we all just going to be poor? Like I said, I think our ideas of what a career is going to change. I think a lot of people are going to be doing things that genuinely make them happy and making money from it. And the economies that are going to emerge will allow for that. You have to analyze things from a historical lens as well. What was the poverty rate before the Industrial Revolution, when there was this huge boom in technology as a result of all these emerging mechanisms? What happened? Poverty sank. All of a sudden, a lot more people had access to amenities that were previously not accessible, that were only available to the rich. Now we have access to the same thing rich folks have access to, like planes, fast cars. We can order food and it like in minutes it's at our doorstep. This would have been witchcraft back in the day, by the way. If you explain to someone that you can order a meal for your whole family from dozens of kilometers away, and in minutes it's at your doorstep, they'd be like, yeah, that's witchcraft. Let's burn this person at the stake. What are they talking about? This is Jude. So, I mean, our standard of living has increased dramatically. If you just look at the past couple hundreds of years. And I think that trend will persist as technology improves. Our standard of living across the board for most people will increase dramatically. Global poverty, or the global rate of abject poverty, went from like 95% to less than 5%. or if you want to be conservative, around 90% to less than 10%. That's a humongous drop. So I think we're going to see the exact same thing, and it's going to be an even crazier, more radical shift when we talk about the upward spike in the standard of living, where a lot of wealth is going to be generated as a result of these technologies, and people are going to have freedom to explore new things that they never had time to think about in the past. There are many caveats to this. The population crisis is also something that might hinder us going forward because of low birth rates and stuff. Our growth might be affected because people don't understand how closely linked technology and population are, and the technology and economy and population as well. People don't. You try and explain this to people, but they just don't get it. People think there's an overpopulation crisis. There's an underpopulation crisis. But yeah, we don't have to get into that. It's just sometimes it feels like I'm talking to a brick wall. Hopefully, we'll turn that ship around soon enough. Hopefully. Oh God. But there are caveats to this whole thing. But I am optimistic for the most part. I think when I see stuff like this, when I see ASMR artists being featured in big YouTube channels, and ASMR just gradually becoming more and more accepted in the mainstream, it'll be a viable career path for people. Just like people get into podcasting, people get into the film industry, the music industry. I think ASMR will be an industry, and there's going to be other niche things that emerge that people were like, how's this? Like people will be like, how's this a career? But we're going to have to find new things to do because we're no longer cleaning the toilets. We're no longer farming crops. We're no longer like sweeping the streets. We're no longer doing that. People are going to have to find new things to do to make money, and it's going to be very much in the realm of creativity and stuff like that. I do think a lot of jobs will emerge also of managing AI. That's going to be very important. We're going to have a lot of people managing AI to make sure it doesn't go off the rails. That cannot be understated. That's going to be a big job, big industry, AI management. So a lot of people are going to be employed in that as well, overseeing our robot servants, making sure they remain our servants. That will be a crucial job that I think will exist into perpetuity as AI gets smarter and smarter and smarter, and therefore more and more dangerous. We'll always need people to understand AI, understand its systems, understand the coding, and all that sort of stuff, so that they can continue to implement fail-safes, kill switches, all that sort of stuff. So we're never at its mercy ever. So shout out to the people who are going to be involved in AI management. We need you. But yeah, I think a lot of jobs are going to come up, guys. But it's just not going to be anything like what we're used to. It's even hard to conceptualize the sort of jobs that are going to emerge. But we're getting an idea of it when we see people who tap on objects for a living. It's going to be very weird, but we'll adjust, and eventually there are going to be more people than ever doing what they want to do for a living. We're really entering into a golden age. I really believe that we're entering into a golden era for humanity, and there's potential for things to go wrong. Of course, there always is, but there's a lot of potential things to go right, and I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. So yeah, just keep your eyes glued, man, to the news, to just keep track of developments, to see like where are things going, or whatever industry you find yourself in, like, how are things changing? How long do I have before my job is taken by the robots? If it is taken by the robots. Just prepared, man. It's not as scary as people think. There's a lot of potential here for new growth, new development. But yeah. Anyway, another thing I was thinking about, I talk a lot about my preferences as it pertains to marriage going forward. But so I'll say, for example, I'm a fan more of the traditional model of marriage, wherein husband, provider, wife, homemaker, right? I like that. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. However, I was watching something yesterday that got me thinking. The person was talking about the importance of, well, actually, and I've noticed this with my mom and her generation as well. And the person was just saying, people will say that they want traditional marriages or whatever, that they are traditional, but a lot of it is actually really just transactional. So, for example, a woman will be like, I want a provider, a man who provides. But that's really just transactional. It's like, she's not necessarily saying she wants a traditional man, she just wants someone to fund her lifestyle. Because a traditional woman back in the day, like if your man got retrenched, got fired from his job, or whatever, he gets disabled, like she didn't leave, she stayed. That was part of what it means to be traditional. You're a ride or die, for real, for real. Same thing with a dude, like you stayed, man. You were loyal to your family. You didn't step outside of your marriage. You weren't a sleaze bag, and you were just loyal to your family, and you were very supportive. So it's like, I think more than anything, whether it's traditional, whether it's modern, I think the thing that's important in any relationship is genuine love for the person you're with. So that like you're committed to the end. Like, when we swear our marriage vows till death do us part, like you actually mean that when you say. Most people these days, they don't mean that when they say it. It's not till death, it's till you get on my nerves, it's till I find someone else, it's till you start making less money, you start making less money than me, till, like, there's so many conditions. It really does not take that much these days for a modern marriage to fall apart. It doesn't take much. People are not committed. So I'm realizing that for me, it's important that whoever I am, but I love her, that I as a man fulfill my primary duty to love my wife. The Bible says, as an instruction to men, love your wife as Christ loved the church. The part we like to hear as men is the part where it says, wives, submit to your husbands. But it also says, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church, and Christ died for the church. He died a brutal, savage death. And you have to be willing to lay it all on the line, man. You have to be willing to commit to your wife fully and just make sure that she's good. So for me, that has to be a priority. That's why I'm good at taking my time, just maturing and getting to that point where I feel like I'll do great as a husband. I don't know how long it'll be before I find the right person for myself. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows? Who knows? but it's so important that I don't, because sometimes it's easy to be like, I'll become the right sort of guy when the time comes. When I meet the right woman, I'll become the right man for her. It's like, no, you have to be that guy now. Because if you're not that guy now, how are you gonna be that guy later? It's not a magic. It's not a magic switch that you just flip. The Bible says, he who is trusted with little will be trusted with much. If you're faithful with little, you'll be faithful with much. So in this phase of my life, when the stakes are very low, I'm still single, how am I conducting myself now? That will determine how I conduct myself when I'm actually in a marriage. So it's important to consider these things. I just do a good job as a father. I do a good job as a husband. That more than anything is what I want, is to do well, not just to. It's very easy to turn it into a transactional thing, these relationships where it's like, I want you to do this for me, I want you to do that for me, and she's like, I want you to do this. And that's what a lot of marriages really are. It's just people expecting things of each other instead of like, what can I do for you? Like, what can I do to make you happy? I think when you genuinely love someone, you want them to be happy, and you just want the best for them. Obviously, look, we all have our preferences, and it doesn't mean anything and anything, and you just accept anything from the other person, but it's like, you still want them to be happy. So for me, it's like, that's important, man. That's such an important part of it. The deal is that I hold up my end of the bargain, and I prioritize her happiness, I prioritize her safety, and all that sort of stuff, and I bring the best out of her. I allow her to be the best version of herself. I don't hold her back. I don't stifle her, but really, really, like, you know, they say iron sharpens iron. I love the idea that in a marriage, you know, they say two come together to become one flesh. You exchange strengths for weaknesses. So like you fill in each other's blind spots. So whatever area in life I'm deficient in, she can help me, and whatever area she's deficient in, I can help her. And we work well as a team in that regard. And we just are able to handle life together and brave life storms and just have a good life together, right? Sounds like a great deal. So yeah. It's important. I need to avoid some of these girls who will 100% just be looking for someone to fund their lifestyle. I want a provider. Some guys are just trapped in relationships where they aren't getting much out of it, to be honest. They're footing all the bills. She's not sleeping with him. She doesn't really love him. She might be cheating on him. But hey, he's the provider, and my wife stays at home, all that sort of stuff. But you know, it's not a really loving relationship. It's very easy to fall into one of those. Maybe she was pretty, and she said nice things, and then I fell for it, and now I'm trapped. I don't think that'll happen to me, just because it's actually like, these people aren't that slick. They're not as smart as they think they are. I think the issue with men in particular is the best way to trick a man is offer him sex. So if you can get him into bed, that's like the Samson and Delilah story. You know the Samson and Delilah, the Bible story, where he's this really strong guy, but his strength is in his hair, and his enemies could never get him. his enemies could never get him until they realized, send him a woman. And she was sleeping with him, and eventually she convinced him to cut his hair, or I think she cut his hair while he was asleep, or something like that. Oh yeah, I remember what it is. No one knew the source of his strength. No one like understood how is this guy this strong. It's like this is crazy. We can never subdue him. We can never gang up on him. He's too strong for us. And then they sent a woman to find out the source of his strength so that they could get rid of it. And she nagged him day in, day out, like, what's the source of your strength? And he would never tell her. He said, don't you love me? I thought you loved me. Why won't you tell me? And I'm pretty sure they're fucking all this is going on. And eventually he gives in. He's like, okay, fine, it's my hair. If you cut my hair, I won't be strong anymore. But yeah, don't do that though. And then he falls asleep and she cuts his hair. And then his enemies show up and blind him. They gouge out his eyes and imprison him. There's a happy ending, sort of, not really, but he ends up killing his enemies. He takes them down with him. So he got revenge in the end, but like the moral, or at least part of the moral of that story is that you can't trust these hoes, man. You can't trust these hoes. They gonna get you. So for me, I think one of my strengths is that I don't think I can be tricked by sex. I don't think that's something that can be used against me. Look, I experienced temptation. I'm not perfect. I beat my meat from time to time. I'm trying to stop. I really am. But it's harder to get me to get into bed with a woman. I think as much of a horny degenerate as I am, I have limits, and I've got a battery warning. I think that's the one thing that some of these more unscrupulous women have, is that if they can get a dude to sleep with them, they can confuse him, and he stops thinking clearly. I have a process that I would want to go through with a girl. For me, it's like, first of all, we can't sleep with each other until we're married. That's number one. But before we even get there, there's so many things that we have to clear. So I'd want to meet her parents or whoever is looking after her and get to know them and get their blessing. I'd want to meet her friends, because someone's friends tell you about who they are. Like, whoever is in her life that's important to her, whoever's closest to her, I just want to meet those individuals, just to get a sense of who is this person, who's the company they keep. And then she meets my people, or she should get to know me. But she also has to meet my people, because my people will tell me if they think she's bad news. For example, my brother's girlfriend, when my two sisters and my mom met my brother's girlfriend, they were like, yeah, no. And we were praying. When I also knew my brother's girlfriend, and we were all praying that they break up. And they did. Thank God. Because if he had gotten her pregnant or married her, oh my God, she would have been so much trouble for this family. It would have been so bad. This guy, man, he had a stressed, terrible decision making. Like, I don't know why so it's actually like making me angry. No, you know why it's making me angry? Because the other men in our family, so my two cousins, they married horrible women, and now there's so much drama in the family as a result. So this guy was about to go down the same road. I hope my mom has a serious conversation with him. Like, listen, you can't bring one of these ratchet, crazy hoes into this family. Because my mom told me, she said, whatever you do, wherever you end up, just please. She has to bring peace, not trouble, not chaos into our family. Because, guys, people don't understand the trouble that a bad marriage can bring into a family is oof. So, like, people, like, my mom would definitely be alert. Women just have great bullshit detectors. Like, moms in particular have great bullshit detectors. So, if I end up with if I have a girlfriend that's just not it, my mom will know. She'll be like, nah, you need to get rid of her. I don't like her. My mom is very easygoing, by the way. She's chill. She's a nice, cute, like, quiet lady. She really does not. It's hard to get on her bad side, but if you're like genuinely like a crazy person, or you're just not a good, like, if there's just something wrong with you, she'll know. She'll tell you. My family's not overly religious. We're not too stringent. Like, you don't have to walk on eggshells. So there really has to be something wrong with you for my mom to be like. So if your intentions are not in the right place, if she can sense that, this girl does not love my son, and she will bring trouble to this household, you'll be out. So that's part of the process for me. So I just feel like I can't be tricked by some of these girls who claim that they also want to engage in the more traditional setup and whatnot, but they really have ulterior motive. They just want to mooch. They just want to mooch. They just want a free ride. Yeah, it won't work. Not with me, it will work with a lot of guys. I will say that much. A lot of guys will fall for it. Because they're going to have sex before they get married. And they're going to rush. They're not going to introduce the girl to their parents. They're not going to do the proper vetting process. They're not going to do any of that. And they will get tricked. They'll get the girl pregnant or something like that, which is... Well, once you do that, it's over. Once you have a baby with someone, it's over. That's... Even if you split up and whatnot, that person's tied to you forever. You have a child with them. You have a whole child. Yeah, that's your wife. Even if you don't technically marry her and whatnot. You're married by that child. You made a human together. So yeah, you have to be careful, man. You have to be very careful. So I'm gonna take my time. I ain't gonna rush. I just want to meet someone I can get along with, and then when I find that right person, I'll put 100% of my efforts into her, and we'll be happy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think. I have to pray then later this video. Father God, I thank you for this individual watching this right now. Thank you for making them whole, unique, and guiding them on a path towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you for blessing this person with wonderful people in their life who love them, take care of them, and bring the absolute best out of them. Thank you for maintaining the ones that are there to do the same thing. Thank you for blessing this person with love and marriage and sustaining that love and marriage and making you very, very, very happy. Thank you for blessing this person with a spirit of gratitude so they can give thanks for all the wonderful things in life. I give you thanks. Thank you for peace, continue and attract even more blessings. Let your presence be felt in this person's last time. Let your God, let you will, let you love them. You always be there for them. Good health, more life, and happiness over this person. And for the care of your mind. I pray in Jesus' name. I pray. Amen, amen, and amen.